the country castle. I have a moment where I wanted to share with you the history of our home, how we ended up getting this beautiful house. If you are new here, we live in a 1905 Queen Anne style Victorian home, and it's out in a small little town. So that is how we have named ourselves the Country Castle. We are kind of a unique house out where we live. There's not a lot of homes like us. Not only is this a special treasure of a home just because it's in such good condition, but it has so much history that I wanted to share with you today. So I'm gonna go back a little bit and share how about 7 years ago, we were looking for a place to plant our roots, to really find a beautiful community for our children. We actually ended up moving back to my valley that I grew up in. So I actually grew up about 20-30 minutes from where we currently live. I never pictured myself back in the place where I grew up. It's really hard to get a good paying job where we live. And my husband is in the corporate world. So this was kind of a challenge of being either in a big city or if we could work remote. So we finally were able to pull some strings and have more of a remote location job. And this is something that we really fought for. This is something that we really wanted for our kids because we didn't want to move around anymore. We had moved quite a bit. We've moved out of country, we've moved to different states, and we just kind of felt like our oldest son, Everett, he was 10 at the time, and we only had 5 kids at that point. We just felt like if we are going to do a move, we need to do it now, before their formative years. We just really wanted them to be able to put down their own roots. So we actually looked and looked. We were living with my parents at the time as we were in transition. And this home came on the market about November of 2018, and I remember Jack showing it to me, and I just couldn't believe it. And I just told him, I said, you should not have shown me that house because now I'm really gonna want that house. And it was way out of our price range. So it was definitely something that we could not afford, but we just drooled over it. We would look at the pictures like every single day. And by February of 2019, so this like 4 months later, the house actually dropped by a lot. There were circumstances involving the executors of the estate and them really needing to move the house and sell it. So we came in to see the home, and immediately it even surpassed what we saw online. We loved the little town it was in. I wasn't super familiar with this town. We just fell in love with it, and then they fell in love with us. They really loved the fact that a young family was going to take care of this home. So we ended up getting the home. We moved in May of 2019, and we have had 2 home births here. It's just been a magical place to raise our kids. Now I'm going to share with you the history on our home. This is probably the question we get the most, is tell us the history of your house. Our house has a lot of cool history, and we are fortunate that the man who owned our home was so passionate about preservation. We have a historic plaque on our home. So we're going to go way back to the early 1900s. In 1905, Soren Hansen built this home. And Soren was a pretty amazing figure in the community, in the sense that he was a forward thinker, entrepreneur. He actually made his fortune selling eggs from farmers. He would actually go back east and he would study storage units and how to cold storage eggs and food and things like that, so that he could preserve the eggs and then distribute them around different states. And that is basically how he made his fortune. And so our house is actually called the house that eggs built, because he was so good at what he did. He was able to make a huge business and profit from literally selling eggs. He actually built a storage facility right next to this current home, and that is where he stored all of the eggs, and he and his wife and their children lived in like a little log house next to the facility. He promised his wife that he would build her dream home once they had enough money saved to build it. So they built this beautiful home. It is a Queen Anne style Victorian home. They were just a pillar of the community. They were the kind of people that loved to give and also loved to share what they had. They would host beautiful Christmas parties and where they would have barrels of candy, and they'd have Santa come, and there would be a gift given to each little kid who came. There are some interesting things of this home, including the exterior. Soren's initials are on the home. It's an S and an H. This was very typical Victorian homes to have the builder of the home, the owner of the home, put their initials on the house. So there is a mermaid that was put on our home, and it was scandalous. This is a very highly Christian area, and this mermaid has like her naked chest, I believe in Europe somewhere. I'm gonna have to search that or hunt down the history on that. But he loved it, and he put it up on the house. And that's kind of one of the reasons I love Soren, is that he kind of just did what he wanted and made the house the way he wanted it. The sponsor of today's video, which is Daisysilk. As you know, I have been vocal about having quality and minimal clothing in my wardrobe. As you can see, these are pieces that I have worn over and over again, and I absolutely love them. I have partnered with Daisysilk. They have the most luxury, 100% beautiful silk clothing. Whether you need a blouse, a dress, or pajamas, I have absolutely loved the quality of these pajamas, especially when it's high end and as beautiful quality as Daisysilk offers. Has been so worth my comfort, and just slipping yourself into something so beautiful, I feel like is something that we need to do more of for ourselves. And so for me, my Daisysilk jammies at night has been such a treat. And I had no idea that silk holds one of the highest vibrational frequencies for fibers. So when you're actually sleeping in silk pajamas, you are falling into a deeper sleep than you would wearing a synthetic fiber, because everything gives off energy, everything has a vibration. Also, loving their silk eye mask. This is something that I have never slept with an eye mask, and I slept with it for the first night, and I have been sleeping with it every night since. I don't know why I have never used an eye mask. I feel very Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's in this, and I put it on every single night. They've been so kind to give me 1% off for all of my followers, and you will get that discount. So appreciate you supporting me, my channel, my sponsors, and I hope that you go and check them out. So it's just really neat because this home holds a lot of memories for a lot of the people in this town who remember the days of it in the 30s and the 40s. Interestingly enough, after they built this home, they didn't stay here long. They ended up moving to Hollywood, and this home was then lived in by another family. In the 30s, this home actually turned into 4 apartments, which is just wild to think about. There were 2 apartments upstairs, and there were 2 apartments downstairs. They had their own electrical boxes. We actually have 4 of those boxes on our house still, which just is that reminder, the history of where this house has been and how far it's come, and the journey and the history that is wrapped in these walls. Because people have come to our home and they remember babysitting for one of the tenants in one of the upstairs apartments. They remember coming and playing with the kids who used to live here. Ted and his wife in the 70s purchased this home with their family, and they actually restored it back into a family home. So the apartments, they all went away and they were able to restore this house. Good boy. That is who lived here for the last 60 years. It has had a journey of a lot of people living here and renting here. We have had historic home tours where people have come to see the home who haven't seen it since they were little. And it has been such a treasure to absolutely be a part of the history of this home and to preserve it and to also share it. And that is what we love to do. I'm like checking through the window to see when my kids are going to be coming home, because it is a rarity that I get this much uninterrupted time, which is why I'm paying my older children with a milkshake to go take my kids to the park, although they would do it for free. But I so appreciate you watching my video today and just kind of learning more about the history of our home. In future videos, I am sharing a home tour. I'm going to break it into two parts. We are going to do part one, which is going to be sharing all of the bedrooms of our house. We have 5 bedrooms. We also have an unfinished basement, which acts as a cold storage for our food and for all of the storage for like Christmas decorations. We actually have a 3rd story, which I will do a video on. And so stay tuned for that. It is a pretty remarkable, cool space that we hope to tap into one day. We need to engineer a staircase to go up there. We just have a pull down ladder, but it is a full 3rd floor and it is spectacular. So definitely stay tuned for that. Maybe it will be a bonus footage for my part 2 of my downstairs. So we are going to do 2 parts of the home because I really want to share with you pieces in our home, because some of the pieces have come with our home and there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of stories in our furniture. So I definitely want to make enough time to share all of it. I hope that you enjoyed today's video and I hope that you have a wonderful day.